on our assignment 2 and 3 there, right? Okay. So welcome to our week 4, basically, okay, our first sessions. Okay, for this week, okay, I want to hear from you guys, okay, whether you guys have any inquiries or questions on our last 2 and 3 kind of assignments over here. Open up your webcam for a while there, right? So that we'll discuss informally here, guys. You guys can listen to me there, right? Okay, open up your webcam for a while there. I want to see everyone faces there, right? Okay, before we get to start our sessions. Nice. Work on it. Okay, from this submissions over here, there, right? Okay. Looks like everyone actually have been submit there. Good. Anyone actually have left from this? Haven't submit yet? Anyone who haven't submit there? Guys, open up your webcam there, right? Okay. You actually understand what I'm saying right now here. Okay, just a few seconds there, okay, before we're going to continue back again there. All right, first of all, your submissions. All right, please submit basically the final works there. Okay, this is the one basically has skill actually have been submitted there. Okay, the way that Mr. Domney actually have been requests. Please follow also his and my methods of presenting your ideas there. All right. Otherwise, okay, we won't be able to add some of the details on your particular kind of works there, right? Okay. So your research, your sketches, your idea developments there, one of the PDF of your final kind of works at the same times has to be included in your folders there. All right, has to be included in your folders there, right? Okay, these are the examples there how it works. So please basically, okay, take notes on it and submit accordingly to what we actually have been request. It's a simple kind of things there. All right. Where are the rest of you guys there? Why are you guys so stubborn there, right? All right, this is a formal meeting, okay? I just request you guys a simple kind of task there, okay? Not doing the assignments yet, all right? Where were you guys over here? Now, guys, come on, okay? Let's cooperate there, okay, for a while. Anyone who actually haven't submit those works yet in these groups? You can check have been submitted, okay, those research, but I need to see basically those final works there later on, okay? And hopefully there is no one left, okay, have been submitted there, right? All right, thank you very much there. All right, thank you very much, okay, for your, what we call that, cooperations over here. Okay, I'm going to make a very short kind of what we call that, a brief there, okay, back again, okay? Before I'm going to ask you guys to continue to do your research and what basically we need for our second sessions, okay, for our second sessions there. All right. So first of all, anyone have any questions on our brief? Any kind of inquiries on our brief there? Do you have any questions there? Jimin, do you have, all right? No? Anyone have? If no, basically, I can put N on those chat box, okay? If there is no questions, each one of you guys there, please respond. If yes, you guys can raise your hand there, okay? If no, basically, the rest of you guys, okay, all of you guys has to put those N, right, okay? Type N on those chat box there, right? I want to see there, okay, whether you don't have any questions or not. Guys, each one of you guys that works on that. unless you were eating while we were working there, right? All right, we mean actually, right? Actually, I've been asked, right? Okay? Must create creatures who performing on a circus there. The main kind of what we call the objective of this synopsis of this illustration is all about circus act there, right? So you have to create something that related to the circus or animals that can be created, okay? As the anthropomorphism kind of elements it can be, all right? We actually have been going through before this, basically how to create those kind of fantasy creatures. At the same time, you're using reference to works on that. And I would say that you need to apply most of the method by doing some research back again, but the idea that you're going to create will based on the particular kind of information that we actually have been given to you guys. Okay, which is, yes, of course, circus there, okay, as a situations there, and also as a part of the concept of those illustrations. But it doesn't mean that you can actually apply and try to explore another kind of areas of working with your ideas there. But the things that I don't want you guys to try to expose the right, to try pretend to work the right. I don't want you guys to pretending to copy from other people's artworks there. What do you mean by that? Don't just trace from any anime, manga, cartoon styles directly that you actually see on those composition and you apply them back to your works. Understand what I mean there? Okay, but you can use as a part of your inspirations there to works with it, and you have to change in any other way around that you can actually possibly can see there, okay, and change to develop to your own ideas there, right? Ideas developments. Okay, so that's why we have 5 different sketches there. It's not much on 5 different sketches there, guys. If I actually can control basically the illustrations kind of causes, not subject already, I will request more from there. I would request more than 5, but because I actually will assist Mr. Dominator again, we want to see at least 5 sketches from the same ideas. So you have to arrange different kind of compositions there to work on that. Okay, when I actually get this kind of brief there again, then I will read them back again and I try to explore on my ideas there first. Okay, what basically I actually have been seen right now, I gather more informations and some of the illustrations kind of styles that might going to be a very kind of useful for me to explore them later on there, right? So I'm not actually trying to relate it everything according to what basically Mr. Dumni actually had been giving us, but I try to explore more further there. Okay, so all these kind of illustration styles, from Dave making style, from some of the game illustration styles, some of the photos reference, some of the images and children's cartoons, children's kind of books kind of styles there, okay, some photo manipulation arrangements, compositions there, right? And this is some from Cliff Nielsen, what we call the digital artist kind of photo manipulation, superimpose kind of stuff there. I will seek for more information before I'm going to decide. Some of the great element that I can use later on for my illustration style and compositions. Another illustration style that I actually can explore later on if I want to. And some of those circus kind of skill and act that I might going to be used later on for my illustration. This is one of the illustration that you get from those Mr. Dominic kind of reference, can be used as part of those inspiration at the same time that you works on that. Okay, so that's why you have to work smart and work really, really, really hard to develop your ideas there. Some of the ideas from the toy kind of line based on Ashley Wood kind of what we call the designs that I might find quite interesting for me to explore there. Okay, this is some of those digital illustration style from Dave McKean, which is one of my favorite artists there. This is some of the Ashley Wood kind of illustration styles. Again, they use very kind of very stylistics and mixed up with some of the drawings, methods and techniques there, okay? And some of the clown elements from it there, right? Okay, more Cliff Nielsen kind of digital artworks there, right? I might going to be use some of the elements over here to work on my compositions there, right? This is from Mirror Master, right? Okay? I choose this one because they have a very great compositions that almost look like look as a surreal fantasy kind of looks, and has that carnival circus dark kind of what we call that elements inside there, right? That's why I choosing this kind of stuff, those kind of what we call the samples there as a part of my inspirations there, guys. Same goes to this illustration styles, okay? A bit more like graphical, advertising, commercial kind of looks, but it's very, very stylistic and also quite interesting if you want to explore here there, right? Okay, more illustration styles. I gave some of the concept toy game style from Ashley Wood. This is from Dave McKean, and also another decorative children's naive kind of style that I don't know, maybe we can explore from there directly later on. So this is some of those references that I can actually gathered, right, okay, from the ideas that I get from those brief there, okay. So you guys have to collect all these ideas there first, and then I want you guys to include into your mood board there, okay. You can do two different mood board there, okay, which is one is images that you might going to be used later on for your inspiration and your ideas, or you're going to compose back again using digital kind of drawings there. And of course, okay, some reference of those illustrations that I actually have been showing you guys just now can put into another mood board, and 5 different sketches there. This is one of the way that I actually developed those thumbnail sketches. Before on Friday, I might going to be add a little bit more details there, right? But I want to, what we call that, remind you guys, if you really, really want to work smart, don't develop 5 different elements came from 5 different ideas there. All right, 5 different ideas there, okay? Try not to separate them, okay? If you have some of the elements there, I want to use maybe a clown that become a tiger there is a part of those metaphor of the clown become a bit more like a fierce kind of what we call that animals, okay? Maybe they're okay. And then I'm going to put monkey, giraffe to balance them up from these compositions. Okay, take a look. Okay, my sketches is very rough sketches, but have those flows there, right? Okay, it's a rough and very quick kind of sketches there. I put some circus kind of what we call that location and buildings on top of it. The hair become a clouds there, right? Okay, on top of those head of these tigers there. What else there? Okay, that I put over here? Okay, the flying elephants there, like a trampoline there. Okay, to works on that. So I combine and mix with different kind of elements there. This one I add some bear, monkey, basically what we call that flying with this a very mini kind of what we call that airplane there, okay, that have in the circus normally there, okay, circus act. A circus, what we call that buildings there, right, okay, and these characters of this tiger basically been juggling basically flying elephants, okay, on the clouds there. So all these kind of ideas that came to me spontaneously, okay, during the first sessions, okay, I try to come out first with this kind of thumbnail sketches there. Make sure these thumbnail sketches that you're going to draw, people can actually what we call that as understand, okay, those idea behind it first, right? So if I want to create, okay, those kind of, it doesn't mean that you have to follow exactly that, guys, okay, all these ideas back again. But if you can actually develop them according to your kind of understanding and add some of the details, it'll be more better. Okay. So my sketches that I create right now, okay, what we call it, the tigers, right, okay, being make up as a clowns over here. So the sketches normally, right, okay, it has to be look a little bit more like very gestures kind of styles that you approach there, right? So this is what we call thumbnail sketch, I guess. If you take a look, okay, how actually I sketch and draw them back again. It has to be recognizable and show your confidence when you draw them. Okay, this is basically the elephants. Okay, flying around. It was trampoline there. Okay, most of the gestures line there, okay, that I create from there. So this monkey, they basically there, right? They use some sort of like skill act, like all those guy who made this kind of what we call that body kind of tricks there. This monkey over here. Okay, I just sketch roughly that first there, right? These are going to be those giraffe. It works on that. From here there, okay, I just want to cut a little bit on those short there, right? So when I have this kind of ideas, guys, okay, what I can do normally there, right? First of all, I'm going to save these ideas into JPEG files there first. Okay, open up new file. I'm going to add some of the details there. One of the things that I always do, I will experiment with my illustration style. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, yeah, I'm going to use A4 sketch there, okay, first, okay, to work on that, because you know I have run over by space, okay, on this computers here. Okay, let me check back again. Want to refresh. Now I have around 761 megabyte only there. I don't know what happens there. Maybe because I downloaded a few number kind of videos there just now. But this video is not, if I'm not mistaken there, I think it doesn't take too much kind of size there. It's okay. Okay, save this file. I think we need another 3 sketches there, right? So those are basically your job to work on that. This is basically my thumbnails. This is my mood board there, right? Number 1. Okay. Don't seek only less. I can see like some of you guys just seek for less reference and then you decide there, right? That's why make your illustration look weak there, because you don't actually focus too much on developing your kind of moment, develop those ideas there correctly. Maybe because you're not mature enough lah. Okay? My kind of what we call that analogies, or maybe assumptions is simple there. If you don't follow basically the things that we actually have thought, you're not mature enough to learn like an adult there. Okay, simple as that. Okay, you thought basically doing good, but it's not there. So wait until your parents will die, basically maybe in the future. So, okay, you are left alone and you start to make a living out of yourself there. Now you realize basically you need to work hard from there to make a living. Other than, yeah, hopefully we don't kill ourselves there. All right. Twist to the life kind of cycles there, right? Okay. So those are the things that, guys, reality bites. Okay, please basically be mature to develop those kind of ideas. At the same time, be responsible more on your learning experience. All right. So now, this is basically my first some of what we call that sketches there. Right? Okay, in details there. Hopefully in details there. Right? So I have 2 different ideas first that I'm going to work out, right? Okay, one of the things that I actually always do, I'm not just referring those references. Okay, I'm going to try to sketch some of the ideas from here. For example, if I want to refer on my reference like this one there, right? Okay, this one, my reference. I'm going to draw these main characters there, right? So if I cannot basically draw correctly using my kind of skills, as I actually have trained you guys there before there, right? So what I can do basically there, right? I can use reference to work on that. Okay, there's a lot of way for you guys to work with it. Okay, one of the way basically to work by, uh, for example, you just draw according to what you see from here. But what I can do more from, because there's a lot of ideas that I have in mind when I actually want to develop those kind of what we call that sketches there. Okay, normally I will draw back again there. Okay, and I will try to develop. Okay, if I want to make a symmetrical kind of what we call that illustrations, what I can do from here there, right? I will draw this part there first. Can you see that, right? Okay, I try to develop basically those kind of what we call that from those illustrations, right? But I try to refine, and of course, okay, at the same times I will basically I'm going to re-sketch back again there. Okay, this kind of ears, I'm going to draw a little bit more like this. This is a okay, tigers kind of ears there, right? So these are going to be those okay, those fur line there, right? Can you see there, right? Okay, how actually I try to develop different kind of looks and feels from here. Okay, because I want to make this tigers become a clown there, right? So what I can do to make it more synchronized and more centralized, right? I'm going to see, because this is a concept illustration or concept styles of illustrations there. So I can actually draw a symmetrical kind of elements from here. A lot of things that we have to go through there, guys, okay, other than we just draw the things from what we have in mind there, right? Okay, from here, okay, I want to make these characters a little bit more fearless there, right? Okay, at the same time, okay, maybe they look a little bit more evil later on, okay. I don't know that, okay, because when I actually want to develop those kind of ideas, I'm going to go through with a lot of process there. So one of the process, I'm going to develop some of those elements that, okay, before I'm going to decide there, guys. Okay, before I'm going to decide that. So this is one of it, okay. So I want to draw basically these characters have those. If you cannot imagine there, okay, those kind of wig there, okay, of those clown kind of hair there, okay, you guys can try to redraw there, right? I'm using different layers because okay, I want to show you guys basically, okay, maybe this clown kind of what we call that wig are going to be a little bit more like this there first. A bit more like a cloud there, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do, so this is basically some digital kind of sketches that I should try to create and show you guys how it works there. So from here, I have basically these ideas of this clown, what we call that hair on those, what we call that, the tiger's kind of head there, right? The next thing is, okay, I want to make it more accurate on this design because some people, they still cannot make it those elements that they saw a little bit more accurate there, okay? That's why we need those reference. So I'm going to reduce a little bit. At the same time, I'm going to grayscale, okay? Reduce the opacities. I have to show you guys basically these kind of methods because I know basically some of you guys doesn't know basically how to work with your imaginations there. Okay? Sometimes your imagination also looks a little bit more subtle there, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys back again how it works there. You thought you make it right, but it's not there. That's why you have to do this kind of methods that works. Because if I'm going to draw them without any reference, you might going to have lost a little bit where I get all these ideas came from. So what I'm going to do right now, even I can draw a symmetrical balance, okay, on this one, symmetrical balance there. but I'll try not to apply that first. Okay, this is some detailed sketches that we call there, guys. Okay, some detailed sketches there. Oops. My bad there, right? Because I tried to quick a little bit on those drawings, but it's okay. Cut this one, paste over here. And I'm going to scale back again all these elements together there first. All right. I don't know, basically, right? Can you see different people's basically have different way of producing those kind of drawings there. But this is one of those ideas that you guys can actually use to work on those methods and techniques to develop your kind of sketches there. So I try to use basically some efficient kind of way to develop those sketches. So hopefully you might not going to get lost already from your own kind of creations. So roughly I have this kind of, why actually I put all these kind of three different kind of what we call that builds together directly, because I want to make it balanced there, guys. Okay, on the arrangements of these compositions there, balance them up there, right? Even though rough sketches, or even though it's a detailed sketches, but we can actually make a little bit more roughly to get the compositions right there first. Okay, from here, I want to design basically maybe a flying kind of. I know basically we can find more better kind of what we call that reference for this one. I just want to give some examples that first how it works. So this is basically those elephants, but take a look, guys, how actually I improvise them. Okay, how I actually improvise these ideas there. This flying elephant there, right? So let me combine it because I don't want to use a lot of layers there. Okay. My sketches. Normally sketches are usually one layer that works. So these elephants, okay, draw carefully there, okay? Design the characters again. When you design these illustrations kind of assignments, you are about to design the characters there. All right, remember that, okay? You're not actually just draw from someone illustrations there, okay? Or someone reference there, okay? So what I'm going to do right now, if you cannot actually design, write a better kind of practice, please refer some of the reference there first. Okay. This is one of it. Okay, so I want to make this elephant fly there, okay? See, the tail is down there, okay? Because if you have that kind of understanding, you can design those tail in the different directions there. That's why experience and concern on those kind of ideas of development is really important there. So what we call that these elephants is roughly is flying over there, and I'm going to use the same elephants there, all right, to duplicate them, flip horizontals there to put in those into those balance there, right? What else that we can put over here? Okay, what else there, right? Okay, from the first ideas there, right? Okay, this part is basically there, right? Okay, I'm going to redraw them back again there, okay? And some of the elements from this clown that I can find quite interesting for me to work later on there, right? So what I can do, I'm going to copy this one, paste over here as my reference there first, where basically my sketch is there. Okay. I'm going to redraw that, right? Okay, maybe I'm going to, if you can actually find some reference, it's more better there, right? Okay. How to draw basically the crumple from this. Okay, from this dress there, right? Okay. The next thing is over here first. See, all right, okay. So find the right kind of reference that works on that. Don't just simply basically just draw them without having enough reference there. Otherwise, it's going to be look weird with your illustrations later on there. Save your file there first. What else that can from here we can actually add, okay? So there has a bit kind of makeups over here, right? Okay. This nose basically I want to change there later on. It become a bit more like a round kind of nose over here, right? And some of the makeup that right here that I can play around with it, right? Okay, for this clown there, right? Tiger kind of clowns that may be there. What else there, okay? I would say that I want to draw basically the tigers has a claw right here. Okay, he kind of like holds something from here there, right? He also can either store claw, okay? I can draw something like this, right? A little bit more attitude there, okay? Okay, but it's not basically proper, okay, for these compositions there. I didn't use them, right? So what else there? We actually can play with it. Okay, the monkey itself there, right? What I can do, okay, first of all, this guy, basically I'm going to put right over here there first as a part of my reference here. So there's a lot of way, guys, okay, we can work on there, okay, because when people actually give us basically some ideas that works on that, okay, I can actually draw a lot of things there, okay, that I can do. Because all these sketches that have been created, I can improvise them later on when I want to start to paint. You start to paint with it. So from here, basically this guy basically, okay, he will act there, right? But I find quite interesting kind of what we call that reference that I saw from here there, right? That in my art, this one basically quite very interesting there, and they have a certain kind of balance that we can see from there, right? It's like a freak show there, okay, that we actually can use as a part of those ideas that you develop there, okay? When I look into this kind of what we call that act there, right, okay, I think of something a bit more like one of those series of movies there, okay, from the fantasy surreal kind of movie came from I can't remember the names, guys, but the works of those illustrations who came from who actually created Mama there, right? Films there, okay, horror movie there, right? Have you seen this one before? Okay, okay. I saw this kind of what we call like movies directing, and the directors came from okay, this guy there, right? Right, there's one directors there, right? Okay, they actually right from, oh yes. Uh, okay. I'm too old to get into the more Del Toro kind of horror movies there, right? This one, okay, Pan's Labyrinth there. If you saw Pan's Labyrinth there, okay, there's a certain kind of elements of circus, surreal kind of things that happens, okay, in these visuals there. But he used also some goth, some devil gothic kind of what we call that characters and creatures there. Okay, he works on that. It's quite interesting there. Okay? If you want to explore more further on your kind of understanding and your ideas at the same time there. Okay? It's very nice. Basically, if you really love basically some surreal, dark, surreal kind of look and feels, this is quite very interesting kind of visual that you guys can explore from your sketches over here. Okay? So this is basically some early stage that I can find to develop those kind of ideas that I have to work a bit more further, and if I want to make it more surreal, but this is one of the starting point and how it works. So what I can actually use basically back again just now there, right? Okay. Where is it? This guy there, right? And this guy there basically just now I find quite interesting. I will put it over here first. Maybe I'm going to scale a little bit, and I can actually develop this guy become a puppet already. So that mean, right? This guy become a monkey already. So what basically I haven't actually seek basically okay for those informations. Maybe the right is okay monkey from circus direct. Find some reference there, guys. Okay, in order for you to develop it more further, kind of ideas there, right? Okay, which monkey basically quite suitable for you to work there. Okay, don't just find any random kind of monkey there. You have to seek for more informations there, guys. Okay, before you're going to decide. Okay, this one is a bit more like a toy monkey, but it's quite very what we call that have that kind of look and feel that you can actually explore from there. They can become and develop also a story at the same time. Okay, then look also quite horribly sick there, right? Okay, that I find from these visuals there. But it can be applied there, right, guys? Okay, have fun to develop this kind of way of working with this kind of design at the same time. Okay, don't seek for this one. Okay, find this reference as a part of your elements that you're going to use there. Okay, but you can use as a part of those inspirations that you also got. Okay, so what else there? Other than this kind of monkey styles there, okay, or maybe some dressed up there, right? Okay? Some of the costume that all this kind of monkey basically used basically has to be also can be referred here, right? So that's why I really spend time basically to develop that kind of what we call it approaching on those kind of ideas there, right? Okay? Sometimes the sample of this like this one can be used also right, okay, to develop the kind of costumes kind of styles there. That's why you have to be careful with it. Try to find more and more kind of samples before you're going to decide. The next thing is I want to find some monkey faces there, okay? That can be used as part of my reference there. So what else that we can use, okay? A lot of ideas that we can get from here. You can actually get some reference, some sort of like story behind the visuals there, okay? If you want to create the right game. This one quite interesting. This also quite interesting, say. A little bit more like he's angry because he doesn't want to become a puppet, right? Maybe I can use this one. copy first, paste. I have to show you guys back again these ideas, how actually I developed these ideas there, like this one, because I want you guys to have the clear kind of understanding there. Because when you want to draw from imaginations, make sure your imaginations is great enough for you to develop there, right? Otherwise, okay, try to get a bit more kind of understanding here. Develop the proper kind of way of working with your kind of ideas over here. Okay, I can actually do the same thing, just like I create basically those what we call that, those tigers kind of faces. They're just not there, right? So put some makeups like this one first. Okay, next thing is, okay, close the reference first. Okay, the pose basically that I want to create there, right? Okay, look like a monkey at the same time. Okay, what I can do, I can actually write, try to exaggerate a little bit, save the files there first. Okay, there. He's wearing basically those dress. So this is basically those hands. So draw those monkey hand there, okay? There's a fur line over there, maybe some sort of like a bangles there, okay? Some accessories there you want to design. From here, this is going to be those, the legs. Which is, this is the one basically quite tricky a little bit. So what I can draw, okay? Those legs become a little bit more like this one there first, roughly. Okay. So what I can do from here, I can actually copy this part, copy and paste. I can actually write. So work smart and at the same time, okay, knowing basically your tools there correctly. Yeah, right. So basically, this is my sketches of this monkey here. I can reuse them later on. Try to scale a bit smaller there right away first, because I want to make this guy basically right here. Okay, what I can do from here, okay, I want to make this monkey wearing basically a hat. Okay, either basically you just don't simply draw them if you don't know which type of hat that you want to use. Always refer some of the samples there, can be applied there again, back again. All right, this one quite nice there, right? So I can use them. Copy, paste first. Right now, I'm going to draw there, right? Maybe write this one there, right? Look like this, a bit. There. Okay. So the patterns, up to you there, guys. Don't be naive to draw the same thing there, okay? I can actually draw the patterns in a different way. Maybe I can actually design some of the hieroglyphics, kind of what we call that, patterns, like animals over here. Okay. Hieroglyphic kind of patterns there. Okay. Knowing history also really important for you to work on that. Now, basically, I want to design this hand become a bit more like a master of puppet kind of hands, right? Who control basically those. this monkey there, right? Okay. What I'm going to do, okay, draw basically the hand. And of course, okay, if you don't have that kind of ability to imagine yourself, which is I want to show you guys basically, okay, hand, control, puppet, right? Find some samples there. Okay, find all these kind of reference that you guys can use there to work on that. So what I can do, okay, this is one of the examples can be used to become a tiger kind of hands there, okay, but become a human a little bit. Because if you want to design a tiger paw there, okay, it can be there, okay, but it has to be came in different kind of, you have to design first those kind of hands, right? You have to design first those hands there. If you want to draw, okay, based on the tiger paw there, okay, like hand, simple kind of words there, right? Tiger paw there, okay, see, different kind of paws over here as a reference before you're going to redesign them there, right? This is the one we say the skeleton of those tigers there. Quite interesting, guys, right? Skeleton there, right? This is what I'm saying is the guys, okay, sometimes if you can see in different kind of perspective there, right, okay, you can get a lot of interesting kind of elements that came out from those ideas. Try to get there, right, okay, but of course it's quite difficult stuff for you to imagine a little bit there, right, from here. But it's quite interesting if you can study a bit more further. Okay, there has 1, 2, 3 segment there. Okay. So this is the main part, right, okay, of those order, right, okay, of the skeletons. And you have to remember them back. So what I can do from here, I'm using the samples there first. Copy there, right? Paste. See how big this reference is there, right? And then basically the hand is now there, right? This one there, right? Copy and paste there. I want to see, right, okay, how actually we can actually, right, engage with these ideas over here. The hands have become made a little bit more bigger because I want to show some power to control there, right, okay, from these visuals. Now our job is right now to refer from those references at the same time there, right? So the paw are going to be, right, the skeletons are going to be like this one over there, right? See? So you have to redraw them because we want to make also this visual a bit more intrigued there, right? 1, 2, 3, right? So get this ideas came from here. So this one, put it over here, there, right? So as long as I can make this thing look a bit more like this, okay, now I can develop basically those kind of roughly, okay, I can actually draw those kind of ideas like this one that I see. You see that, guys, where basically the ideas were heading there, right? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So from the first idea that have been developed there, right? how actually I develop those kind of sketches in detail before I'm going to redesign and develop more and more further later on there, guys. Okay, so this is how it goes, guys. This is how basically it goes. Okay, all these ideas that I have in mind, I put it into those visuals over here to give you guys more kind of understanding there, where basically you're going to be there, right? Okay. What basically that I have in mind, I can contribute with my kind of ideas there, okay? In order to make those kind of design and illustration become more succeed there, right? Huh? It's all been connected together there. Okay. Okay. Can you see there, guys? Okay, how it works? How actually those ideas came it through there, okay? With all these elements all together there. That's what I say. Okay, if you enjoy yourself more further, okay, on developing your ideas and your skill at the same time, then this is what you get there. You guys are lucky enough that actually I can show you guys how it works here. Yeah, this one I'm going to put right here. This one's supposed to be a bit more right there. Yeah. And even though there's a lot of things that we can work out there, guys, okay? A lot of things that we can work out also from here, okay? But this is something that I have go through with my mind in order for me to develop those ideas, guys, okay? How actually from the first sketches, second sketches, okay, I start to work with some of the details there. And I'm not saying that I'm going to decide to use this one there, right? But this is a part of those way that I can develop those ideas at the same time that I get to work on that. So this is how actually we can actually grow from here. So let me save this one, copy that first, right? All right, I'm going to send to Mr. Miro again some progressions over here. All right, the same as what you have seen right now there, guys, okay? I'm not going to be making more flattened files there first, but I'm going to save some JPEG file for you guys to work on it, okay, to see some those details there. All right, any questions so far on how actually you're going to develop those ideas from here? So develop the ideas to develop the kind of understanding and practice the way of working, okay? It has to be came with the time consuming there. But if you don't practice in the right way, you won't be able to have that kind of taste of understanding the right way to work with it. But I actually have been giving you guys a lot of methods how it works there, guys. So it's all up to you how actually you develop those ideas. And it can be with a lot of way of working at the same time, okay? So spend more time on developing your kind of ideas there first. You have 1 week to develop them, okay? You have 1 week to develop them, okay? what you've seen from what I actually have been working on basically just now there, right? Okay. For example, this is the one again I want to share with you. This is some of my recent kind of works that I've been working on with one of the projects that have been ended last week there. So this is some of my concept illustration that I did for one of those stage play there, right? Okay, that I've been working on last week. Okay, but I have designed this kind of thing not more than 3 days there, guys. Okay, not more than 3 days there, but progressively there, right? So in the normal kind of we call that deadline that we have, okay, from the clients there, right? Sometimes we have only 1 day to complete 7 different kind of illustrations there. And luckily, basically, most of my illustrations doesn't get a lot of rejections. By right, there is none rejections there. They were accepted there, right? But we need to do a little bit kind of amendment only there, right? So this kind of background that I designed were based from a role play for the wayang kulit there, okay? Is part of those supporting element for the background and some of the main element for the animations there. They mixed up all these elements together, right? If you guys have seen on my Instagram, okay, last week that I posted basically on Saturday, okay, we on Friday, they basically already, I did actually right go there to check basically, okay, all this kind of what we call the things, okay, are going to be planned according to what the directors want basically for the visual itself. So that's basically the thing that I can share with you guys. That one of the things that I've been working on recently to work on that, right? So you guys have 1 week to develop that kind of work, okay? Sketches, thumbnails, research, right? I did entirely most of the works in 1 day, okay? Most of it, okay? But I spent around 3-4 days, okay? Or do some amendment progressively there. Right? So if you really want to practice your skill and craft and speed, try to work progressively from now on, okay? I did show you guys how to develop the ideas, how to compose them. But the thing is, to become creative, you need to practice your kind of way of working at the same time from this stage. All right? Okay. Any questions? Any kind of inquiries? Any kind of inquiries there?
Sir,
Yes.
the final is have to be in Photoshop. Is just drawing and put in the color, right?
You need to color.
So
Of
it's
course, you
not
need to color,
using
is that right?
AI, right?
Huh?
It's all in Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to be any eye lah.
So all is like sketches and color it. And
Color
add
is a
some
part of
effects.
those details there. Okay. Sketches is only some of the ideas there. All right. Some of the details there. Okay. Details you can become using Photoshop as a part of those compilation between image manipulation and coloring methods for illustration. It can be mixed up all these kind of element together there, right? And I actually have to show you guys back again my sample of works, but not related to this what we call that particular kind of assignments. But you can basically use a lot of methods to develop them. Sketches is a part of those developing those ideas there. It's not actually a real works there, right? What you saw right now is my rough, is basically some of my detailed sketches, but not that details there. And rough sketches as a part of develop those ideas, the ideas there basically. So if you take a look back again, okay, some of the works that I've done that before basically, okay, not only entire on my demonstrations there, right? I came with a different various type of styles there of working. Okay. But you need to find also your inspirations to work with it. Okay, inspirations to work with it. Right? Okay, let me check that whether I can get it right. What do we have here? Okay, for example, like this one there. Huh? Okay, you guys can see my screen sharing there, right? All right. if you take a look at how actually the body of work that I've done for illustration, other than you saw from those Google, from those reference, from the sample that we give you guys, okay, to those, what we call it, illustrations, it came from, okay, illustration is all about visual communications there. We're talking about how actually you're going to communicate and tell the stories to the audience without you explaining to other people about your stories there. For example there, right? Okay, what you can tell is the story behind these ideas there. I developed this idea, right? Okay, between the tigers become a clown, at the same time he can throw basically those monkey who play as part of those supporting act for those what we call that the show basically the right, the flying kind of what we call that elephants there, right? Okay, so what you actually can tell the story behind this, I actually explain you guys, okay, about those ideas there. So if you take a look at this kind of visuals, what you can actually interpret back again, okay, tell the stories with your visual, simple as that. But your story has to be conclude or include the concept of those circles, okay, the animal, a part of those characters there. Okay, try to mix up with various type of animal to choose first to develop the characters and the stories about the circus kind of act at the same times. You can use a surreal kind of look and feel to work on that. Okay, or any other kind of way that if you want to work with it. All right. So I just show you guys how to develop those ideas there. But there can be a lot of different kind of methods that works. That goes to, and also style to approach them. That goes to, if you take a look back again, this is some of the style that we might going to be explored later on, okay, when it comes to develop your illustrations there. All right. So that's why you have to be prepare yourself, okay. You need to basically to prepare yourself, okay, in order for us to explore all most of the techniques that we're going to use later on. Okay, those are the things, guys. So no matter, okay, the sketches is only a style there, okay. Sketches is one part. Drawing basically is a part of those mixture with those illustration coloring kind of techniques. If you take a look at some of my presentations on the actual works that I've done there, okay, I've done a lot of mixtures of drawing and painting kind of styles there in digital kind of formats. So if you take a look closely back again, I'm not actually restrict myself into one single style there to approach my illustration there. So you might going to be experienced later on when I actually try to mix up my kind of illustrations to complete those illustrations. I might going to use a lot of different kind of techniques that you work with it. Okay, last semesters, you guys working with grayscale, black and white kind of drawings only. But I want to show you guys, and also I want to see you, most of the students, okay, all the students basically will try to develop that kind of ideas whenever to develop your kind of skills here. How actually you develop those ideas, how develop your skills, how actually you're going to develop this kind of methods in the right way, in the proper kind of way there. And I want to, and of course, I want to share with you guys what are the things that I have in mind. Imaginative kind of leader, okay, but I can visualize them back using those references there. Okay, if I actually draw the whole thing, all these kind of elements that I draw right now, okay, when you saw my reference right here, most of it, I'm using less reference there. Right? I draw the whole thing, sketch the whole thing directly from my kind of sketches and my ideas in my mind directly. But this kind of visuals, normally, I have numerous kind of reference before I'm going to redraw back again. So depending basically how far you guys can actually develop from there. Like this kind of elements there, okay, all these kind of elements like this one, I actually just resketch them or design them without having any reference there, but less reference than only, okay. I'm using a very less reference to work with it. So depending on the situation that you have. But for the students, there basically, we want to see where do you get this ideas came from. That's why I'm giving you guys this kind of samples there. How basically I develop those kind of imaginative ideas, which is visually, I show you guys how it works by using a proper kind of reference. So I want you guys to learn from there before you're going to develop more further on your kind of way of workings in the future for your own works there. Without all these kind of informations, how do we know basically you really work with your kind of ideas there, right? How actually you really understand how the ideas, how to develop those ideas in the proper way in order to visualize your kind of illustration on your artworks, right? Remember one thing there, guys. When people don't understand how to develop, process those kind of ideas accordingly to the system there, right? They might going to be jeopardized and take for granted what they actually learned there, okay? And the worst case is, for example, everyone thought that, right? To making illustrations or make it a multimedia can work is quite easy there, right? You can click like this in using an app, right? Using an app there, right? So what's the point? Basically, you guys learn the process if you don't actually, right, appreciate the process of working. And when the time's right later on, when you want to make it this kind of works, remember one thing, guys. What you learn right now is not only just for fun and make a grades, get diploma, and you get the shit out of it, right? You're going to make a living out of it when you don't basically understand the process of working. How actually you're going to confess, and also you want to pursue someone basically, okay, your illustration is around this kind of rate, right? When people pay you 50 ringgit only for one drawing illustrations, you score people's, you mess around with it, you argue with them because people don't appreciate you. You the one who don't get people appreciate your works. You the one who has to blame it, right? Because you don't actually learn properly how it works there in your study kind of time there. So those are the things there, guys. So if you understand right now how it works, is to design one single illustration. It's not that easy there, right? You will appreciate more there, okay? When you watch movies there, okay? If you appreciate those movies there, okay, you pay basically around 10, 15 ringgit, or maybe nowadays Netflix around 40, 50, 20 ringgit per month there, right? Okay? You can watch all this kind of movie there, right? Yes, you can get a cheap kind of what we call it rate. You can watch a lot of movie there, okay? But do you know basically how much Netflix basically paid for one movies there, for the creators, for the producers there? How much it makes there, okay? Sometimes it's half a million there. Sometimes it's around what we call that, a thousand, 100,000 kind of ringgit there, okay, for one movies there. But because they actually give a consumers basically a very low kind of rate because they know basically they have more than a millions kind of subscribers there, right? How much they get, okay? Just imagine that, guys. You pay 20 ringgit. If 1 million people pay 20 ringgit at the same times every month, consistently there, okay? How much they get from there? How much there, guys? Let us do those calculations. Like I want to teach you guys also about those kind of making money on those works there, right? So let's just say they pay 20 ringgit times 1 million there, right? Okay, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there? How much they get, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 millions, can I recall that revenue from there? 20 millions there, guys. Netflix have been made roughly every month 20 million there, guys. All right, that's why they can pay basically one movie for one particular producers there, okay, or movie makers there, okay, or company, okay, around maybe 100,000 there, 200,000, maybe half a million there, maybe 1 million there, okay, depending there, right? And they can invest also to create some movies there, okay, based on Netflix kind of investment. Just a Netflix movie, Netflix animation, right? See, because they made a lot of money every Monday, guys. So you guys paying for your school fee 40, 50K, thousand, okay, for 2 years there, for example, and you want to brag out of it, right? They spend a millions to work with this entertainment kind of business there, guys. Simple as that. But looks simple, okay? And if everything looks simple and it's quite easy for us to speak out there, okay? I will be a millionaire right now there, guys. That's why, okay? The obstacle, the challenges is always there. But the difference is I make a living out of it, but you guys will learn to develop them. All right? So think wisely from now on, okay? Everyone love money. I love money very much, okay? But how actually you going to enjoy yourself to develop that kind of theories is all up to you guys there. All right. So this is some of the samples that you guys can take a look, okay? From my own kind of way of working with those illustrations, but this is some of them only there, guys. Okay. So thank you very much there for having me today. So if you have any questions, please let me know right now, okay, how it works. And hopefully you guys can open up your mind more there, okay, on how actually you're going to develop your ideas at the same time there, right? So I'm going to basically going to copy this one there, right? Edit this one there first as for your reference, and then I'm going to upload back again my demonstrations there because I'm waiting for the Google Drive basically to what we call that release basically those videos for today there, right? Okay, this is basically the next step that we need to develop our skills there, guys, other than what we actually been working on previously last semesters and last week kind of works there, right? Let me check over here. Okay, this is the one there, right? Okay, save this one first. I'm going to save also some of those samples that I did basically for to develop this kind of idea for my basically those what we call that, those mood board there, okay? So remember, guys, okay, there is a 3 different kind of items that we want: mood board, reference of illustrations, and reference of element, animal, act, or skills that you want to create from those compositions there, and 5 thumbnail sketches for this week by the end of the week there, right? Okay, right? Any questions, any kind of inquiries? Or any kind of obligations there? Huh? Now, guys, any kind of inquiries, eh? What do you say there, right? Why you guys was silenced there, right? You guys want to wait until 4 o'clock there, right? Without having any questions there. Any kind of Q&A there, guys. Are you guys sleeping right now there, right? What do you have in ideas there right now? Do you have any ideas there? You want to share with me there, okay, right now? Okay, normally, right, guys, okay, from these sketches, from these ideas there, okay, I can actually work with different style if I want to. Let's just say I really feel sick about these sketches there, right? I can develop different kind of styles to approach these illustrations there. Those are the things there. All right. So I cannot, for me, right, I always learn myself to develop those progressively in different kind of ideas if I feel bored about my styles there, right? So I didn't actually stick myself into one particular kind of way of working only there. So always change, okay, the way that we're going to develop basically that kind of styles or skills of illustration if we really know basically how actually we're going to approach them accordingly to what we want basically there, okay, and make it more appealing at the same time to develop more kind of challengings for other people to seek for those kind of ideas there. Okay. All right. Okay, from here, they basically there, right? I will look into those kind of, okay, normally if I want to sketch out this kind of ideas there, okay, I'm going to start to work with some like, okay, let's just say there, okay, let me merge the layers there first. Okay, these layers also I'm going to merge around there, okay. So that means I'm not going to work with a lot of layers there, right? See? Work smart lah. Now this one is a shading, so okay, of coloring there, just to have those kind of ideas how to work basically with those kind of highlight and shadow first, okay. What I can do right here, normal kind of process, right? Because this is rough sketches, right? This is some of the detailed sketches there. Okay, this is my progressive sketches there, okay. Progress sketches there. Okay. Number one there, right? Maybe some people will ask, okay, how many sketches that we want there, right? Huh? Until you find and satisfied with it. Simple as that. Huh? So what I can do from here, you don't forget to write down also your, today is 22 day, right? November 2021. Okay. So what I can do from here, I might going to be, what we call that. Okay, use soft brushes, reduce the opacities, flow, right? And I'm going to start to paint there. But paint the shadows only there, okay? I just want to have that kind of feel of working with the shadows there first, right? See, just want to get a feel out of it there, right? Okay, change the size there a bit. Now basically those form of those what we call it clouds, hair, all right, okay, a bit there. It does, okay, the lighting came from top there, okay, and different kind of side there, okay. It's been kind of challenging there, okay. Okay, these flying elephants there. Why basically I paint all the shadows line like this? Because I want to get the feel out of it. If I'm going to decide to progressively basically dictating those kind of illustrations and redraw back again maybe later on. Okay. Roughly, you have those ideas there, right? So this is tiger, kind of what we call that details there. Just roughly right, to get those ideas there from. Then I can play with some sort of like some of the details right, this one there, okay. If we're going to decide to use these compositions, I might going to add another elements inside these areas there. Okay, that's basically the thing that we can actually work on with. Right. See? Right, even though basically I'm not satisfied with it, but it's okay at the moments there, right? because it's only a rough sketch, it's only there. Okay, so the main kind of characters, okay, the flows of it came from the modern kind of layout. Okay, that means people will read this kind of as a part of the focal point, and then this is the second element that people will look at it, and the rest of it, okay, people will look into all the flows of these directions of these illustrations there. People will read from top, middle, and the bottom of it there. Okay, so that's basically the composition that I try to work on with this kind of illustrations over here. Very simple kind of compositions that look direct and focus more on the main kind of event, which is the main characters there. Okay, that's it, guys. So any inquiries, any kind of what we call that questions, you may ask me later on in our WhatsApp there, right? Okay, all right. I want to see those kind of ideas be developing. All right, on the second sessions this week. Okay, I want to see how actually you develop those kind of reference, inspirations, your ideas, the element that you're going to use, maybe some thumbnail sketches there first, rough sketches there first, there, right? Okay, small sketches there, okay, to work on that first. I want to see how you develop those ideas there, each one of you guys there. Okay, all right. Anything else there that you want to ask me? Only 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Student who actually doesn't have any questions there. I bet the rest of you guys have a lot of questions there, right? Okay, that in your mind there right now. Is it true? Good. So I'll see you guys there, okay, next week. Sorry, there, okay, another sessions for this week there, okay, around Thursday or Wednesday, right? So I want to see that kind of developments there before you're going to submit them on our weekend there, right? Okay, the sketches and the elements, the mood board there first. So some of you guys who delaying basically your kind of mood board, please basically make sure you start to develop your kind of research from today there, right? Remember, right, I did my research for 1 day only, including sketches there, right? You have more than 2-3 days there to work on it. Okay, other than you doing some of the things there, I'm also do some of the things there, right? Okay, outside of teaching there, right? So make sure you work on it, right? Okay, progressively here. Okay, all right. Any questions? Last questions, round tables there. Any kind of inquiries? Yes or no there, right? Okay, understood or not there, right? You guys understand or not, right? How it works over here? Okay, let me share basically the sketches there at the same time. So I did show you guys how it works there, right? Okay. So the visual basically is all up to you guys. Okay, it's not black and white. It's going to be full colors there. This is only a sketches there, guys. Okay, this is only a sketches there. Our progressive sketches. Okay, and hopefully you pray for me. Okay, I can actually work with those kind of final works there, right? I have that kind of interest to work with those final works there. Okay, all right. See you guys around there. Okay, take care of yourself at the same times. All right, and don't forget basically to develop more on it. It's going to be fun there, guys. Okay, and illustration is part of those core elements of your studies there. If you really want to proceed into other things like cinematographics there, right? Film studies there, animations there, right? Game design, whatever that you want. Okay, illustration is a part of the core kind of elements that you need to understand. Okay, otherwise, right? Train yourself to become a boss lah. Okay, train yourself to become a manager, okay? Who marketing directors who actually can talk more than doing those kind of works that okay, visually. All right, we'll see you guys around. See you guys basically, okay, our second sessions later on. Good luck, take care of yourself, okay, have a good evening. At the same time, take some rest, all right, okay, and enjoy yourself more. All right, bye-bye. All right, welcome, all right.
Sir,
Yes,
actually, I just have tried draw out my idea just
okay,
now,
yeah, can you share,
and
all right?
sir, can you see?
Yeah,
Is it okay if the position like this?
not okay.
Not okay.
Yeah, don't decide yet, all right. Just do some rough sketches there first. Just a bit
Uh-huh.
kind of compositions there, rough sketches there. Try to find a lot more elements that you can add more like on your works before you
Okay.
decide. Okay. I
Hmm.
think the character that you use is quite interesting, but the compositions, the positions, okay, the
Hmm.
acting kind of look and feels doesn't actually have that kind of feels
What?
yet. Huh?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Make sure you actually explore more further on your ideas there first. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome there, right? Yes, Jincheng, you want to ask me anything there, Jincheng? What are you doing there, Jincheng? There, right? Okay, thank you there, Humi. Yes, Jincheng there, okay? What do you have in mind there, right? Are you still in there, Jincheng? Are you play some of the games there?